Hello and welcome to September market update. I'm a little late on this month's market update because we went on vacation to Hawaii, my family and I. It was absolutely lovely. So I apologize for the delay. I am also in a little bit of a different spot. Normally, I am in my office. Today, I am in my living room because we currently have an Airbnb staying downstairs. So you get to see a little bit more of where I live today. There's a piano, there's a ukulele. I'm very musical. So if you ever want to talk music, I'm up for it. My name is Stephanie from the Move Okanagan Group. I am a realtor and mortgage broker here in the Okanagan. Don't forget to like and subscribe. After you watch this video, I would love to hear from you. I want to start this video with some things that happened in the news because I think that's a great way to highlight where the market is currently at. Despite interest rate cuts, Kelowna's market is still subdued. Even so, prices are falling. And that is mainly because there's so many new listings still. With all these rate cuts, there's still a huge amount of inventory. The inventory they're saying has stabilized, but I actually disagree with that. I think there's still quite a bit of inventory, and we're looking at almost a 14-month inventory in the market, which is the highest it's been all year. I think that with these rate cuts, sellers are wanting to list, assuming that buyers are going to be more active. But unfortunately, that is still not the case. Ho-hum national housing figures in September sign that buyers want more rate cuts. Sales are up, but they're still being outpaced by new listings. This is nationally. This isn't just in the Okanagan. This article is from the Financial Post. And to the CREA, home sales recorded through the MLS, they rose a little bit since August. August was one of the quietest months we've seen in years and years, back to being around July of 2023. Not forget that last year was also a bit of a slow year. So been a little bit of an increase in sales, likely due to the rate cuts. It's still a very subdued market. Another article here, Kelowna Now, that is essentially talking about the same thing, except this is now talking about condos. Condo inventory is growing as sellers anticipate demand and rebound. A little bit of an uptick in sales, but those were mainly in the larger cities like Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary, Montreal. Really the case for the Okanagan. But something that's interesting and that a lot of articles are saying is that they are anticipating that come 2025, going to see an increase in buyer activity and an increase in the market. They're hoping that they can list at a higher price in the spring because there will be greater buyer demand with more rate cuts. Now that we've covered some of the news articles, let's go right into market trends. Let's look at some average days on market, benchmark price, which neighborhoods are selling the most, your overall market data. Let's look at how many units were sold this September. In the central Okanagan, we saw a very, very slight uptick in sales compared to last year. 263 sales to be exact, and the number of active listings is way up by 33%. So we have 3,281 active listings at the moment and 879 new listings, which is actually down 8.9% compared to last year. And the North Okanagan saw an even larger increase in units sold. Vernon is a better price point in Kelowna, so that's really not that surprising. So when we look at the actual number of sales for detached single-family homes, that's where the majority of the sales happen. 117 detached homes were sold, with the benchmark being $1,018. Days to sell is actually gone down a bit. So we're looking at 56 days. And inventory has gone up, as we all know, by 38.9. This is a fantastic time if you are a serious buyer. I think buyers are waiting on the sidelines and sellers are really wanting to sell. There's hardly any buyers. So when there's actually activity on their home, they get excited. You can really shop with confidence. As a buyer, you can be very picky about what you want. and there's a lot of room for negotiations. And if you are a buyer that has already sold their house, maybe doesn't need financing or can do a quick possession, you're in a great spot to do some excellent negotiating for your best price. So do keep that in mind when you are shopping for real estate, as all of these things do matter. Now let's look at townhouses. Townhouse sales did increase. We saw 39 units sold in the central Okanagan, a little less in North Okanagan. Benchmark price for townhomes went down about 4.7% to $725. And days to sell actually went down a bit, 63 days to sell a townhouse. Inventory is up, as we all know. And condos are very slow right now. I actually expect the high-end condos to really see a drop in prices because those are not moving very much at all. Condo sales did go up by 13.9%. As we know, condos are the best price point. When sales go up, prices typically go up. So we saw a slight bump in prices at 505 was the benchmark price. Days to sell is around 57. And inventory went up. There's more condos listed than before. We're at 699 listings for central Okanagan. Black Mountain saw quite a few sales, 7 sales in Black Mountain. Same with Glenmore. These are hot neighborhoods. And same with South Kelowna, which is very close to the Lower Mission. And Lake Country as well saw an increase in sales. Lakeview Heights, again, that's a very popular area in West Kelowna. As we discussed last month's market update, that also had more sales than other neighborhoods in West Kelowna. So that's definitely a hot neighborhood. North Glenmore, a little bit more affordable than Glenmore just because it's just that tad bit more outside of town. And Rutland is always getting lots of activity as well.
So that is just a quick overview of what is happening in the market. It's really not too different from last month. One of the major things that has happened is the election. So hopefully everyone voted, and that could change some of the housing, especially with short-term rentals and things like that. If the Conservative Party gets nominated, we would definitely be seeing some changes. I'm assuming there's no guarantees here. Personally, from a real estate standpoint, I think that would be great. I'm sorry if you're in favor of not having Airbnbs, but I have too many friends and family members that rely on that business, and they have definitely been hurt by that. Tourism has really been hurt by that as well. There's not hardly as many people coming to the Okanagan and visiting because they don't want to stay at the dumpy hotels that are offered here. For example, in Lake Country, the only hotel is really the Super 8, and I think there's a hotel by the airport as well, which isn't necessarily even in Lake Country. So those are some economic factors that are definitely going to be affecting the real estate market, and something to look forward to. Also, the United States election, that could also be affecting the real estate here. I look forward on reporting that and seeing how it affects the market in the next upcoming months. Let's dive into some more market data. I want to show you a really quick graph of inventory and what the absorption rate is looking at. Months of inventory, we're at about 14 months for inventory. What does that mean? Throughout the central Okanagan, this is for single detached homes. It takes about 14 months for all of the homes to get off the market based on the buyer activity that we have. So it is very much a buyer's market at the moment. The number of homes being sold is continuously going down, with the peak still being back in the spring market. That's when we saw the most amount of homes sold. We saw a little bit of an uptake in the summer after they did the rate cut in June. However, the following consecutive rate cuts did not have the same effect. The market is still remaining fairly subdued, and we're seeing less amount of sales going into winter, which is usually to be expected. What about the sales to list price ratio? Well, last month, sales were about 3 to 5% below list price. Now we're seeing an even bigger cut, with it being 4% to 5% below list price, which is more than it was last month. So we're seeing sellers accepting lower offers, and it's a great time for buyers to buy, as I said previously, because sellers are motivated. The serious sellers are very motivated to sell. We have several listings at the moment, from condos to single family, where the sellers, they definitely want to move their properties before the new year. I briefly talked about neighborhoods, but here's a nice visual for the neighborhoods that are the busiest and have the most amount of action. And that is generally going to be the Lower Mission, Glenmore, Rutland, Black Mountain, and South Kelowna, which is where you'll find the hospital. Seeing a little bit more activity in Lake Country as well. That was pretty much the same for last month. Those are popular neighborhoods, and that is where we're seeing most of the sales and listings happen. So what to expect moving forward in our market? Well, if we do see more rate cuts, that's wonderful for buyers. And upcoming in December, we are seeing some changes in policy for lenders. As of December 15th, before, if you were a buyer and you were purchasing a home, that house had to be under $1 million in order to put less than a 20% down payment. Now, people can buy a $1.5 million home, or at least below $1.5 million, and not have to put 20% down. They can put the minimum down payment, which is going to be 5% on the first 100,000 and 10% on the difference. So still, it would be a significant amount of down payment, but you no longer need 20% to get that mortgage insurance, and your interest rate will also be better, because when you have mortgage insurance, you don't have that premium on your interest rate. Another thing that's changing is they are increasing the amortization to 30 years, making your payments more affordable and also allowing you to qualify for your mortgage a bit easier. So these are some exciting changes. I don't know how much they're going to affect the housing market, because in all honesty, it's still a lot of money to come up with, which, while housing prices are still inflated, and with buyers' debt, consumer debt continuously going up, wages not catching up, I think prices still need to come down. But everyone seems to be anticipating a very busy spring market, so we will continue to get ready for that. They are anticipating further rate cuts, especially by the end of 2025, as much as 1.5% to 1.75%, which would be huge, and that would definitely make buying a home more affordable. The downside of that is that when we see rate cuts like that, prices do tend to go up. So hopefully we have a little bit more of a correction in prices to make it more affordable for buyers to finally take action and stop sitting on the sidelines. Thank you so much for tuning into this month's market update. My name is Stephanie Lafergie, and I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you can continuously get those market updates from me. And let me know what else you'd like to hear. I plan on doing more property tours. I plan on sharing a little bit more about myself coming forward. So make sure to look out for that video that's coming soon. Thanks again, guys, and we'll see you soon.